young ladies that are joining me today for this conversation. Miss soon-to-be Dr. Jessica Woodford, as well as Miss Monique Jeter Abraham. And I'm going to give them the floor for a second to just introduce themselves, and then I'll bring up the rear and I'll introduce myself for those that don't know me. But thank you so much for joining us, and let's get started.
All right, so I'll go. My name is Monique Jeter Abraham, and so I'm an herbalist and also yoni steam facilitator. I have a wellness line for men and women that creates overall health, mind, body, and spirit, and especially uterine health. So I do herbal blends, herbal teas, herbal baths, herbal bath bombs, and I'm just making sure that we understand the importance of uterine health.
And I am Jessica Woodford. I am currently in a doctorate program for clinical psychology. I have previously been a health coach and a researcher, and so I do community research as well as some pharmaceutical research as well. And I've worked in mood disorders, so depression, anxiety, and Candace and I have worked together for years. So we both kind of have a wellness background. And I decided to pursue that a little bit further, moving into the clinical psychology side. So wealth of knowledge when it comes to like community wellness. So I'm happy to be here and happy to answer any questions you guys have.
All right, so just some general housekeeping before I tell you all about myself. Our founder, LaQuanda, wanted to let you all know that we are recording the session, so you can cut your video off if you don't want to be seen. And if we do answer your questions, we're only going to use your first name for privacy purposes, so don't worry about us saying your whole name or anything like that. But so that you feel comfortable and know this is an open space for everyone, we just wanted to let you know that. If you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to raise your hand or to put your question or comment in the chat. So me, I am Candace, and I am a Jill of all trades. So not a Jack, I'm a Jill of all trades, multi-passionate person. I have my doctorate in chiropractic, where my passion for wellness really developed in the classes that I took on nutrition, and not just adjusting people, but understanding all of the facets that go into being a healthy, happy, and whole person. And from there, before that, I had a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, so I was a professional student. And in that time, I've just learned lots of things about nutrition and what food does to and for your body. And working with Jessica, we worked in mental health for 5 years, basically, and just seeing how your relationship, not just with food, but with other people, with yourself, with your environment, what you're taking in, how that informs how you move through the world and how things manifest in your life has just been eye-opening for me. My own wellness journey and it evolving over the years from, when you're in college, what you think wellness is versus once you're an adult, once you start having children, all of these things kind of evolve over time. So that's in there. I'm a plant-based chef. So I went to culinary school and graduated last year. So I'm plant-based. I've been plant-based for 3 years now. Thank you. Thank you. And I just really wanted to help people bridge the gap between what they think healthy eating is and what it actually can be for each individual person, as well as practical solutions that you don't need all these rare things that you have to go to, the ends of the earth to find these ingredients just to make some doggone coleslaw. Like, what is this? Why do I need all this stuff to make coleslaw? I just wanted some coleslaw. So that's what I love about just this journey, is making it accessible for everyday people, so that you don't feel like you have to have a personal chef, a personal trainer, a nutritionist, and all of this to have a healthy lifestyle. So, to the point of what I was talking about earlier with the whole wellness journey, for you all, ladies, what or how do you define wellness?
Here, I'll start. I think I guess in a traditional sense of wellness, most people think of like health and they think about their physical health. And when they think about health, they think of like the absence of like ailments or the absence of illness. And so that is what I think a lot of people think of what wellness is, which is technically true, but it's not a holistic version or a holistic definition of what wellness really is. And that is part of it. Your physical wellness is a huge part of wellness, but it, again, taking in the other components about like your mental health and what mental wellness looks like for you, that part gets, I think, washed away when people talk about wellness. I believe it's become one of these like kind of like terms that have just kind of become like trendy, I guess. And so people just kind of throw wellness out there, but we're not really embracing what all goes into wellness generally. So I think we'll get into that today, but in general, I think that's what a lot of people think of when they hear wellness.
And for me, for wellness, just like what Jessica was saying, a lot of people, you think of, if you don't have diabetes, if you don't have high blood pressure, that you will. However, we forget about the mental part of it. We have a lot of people with, mental disorders, and that is wellness. So overall wellness, and for me personally, it will be womb wellness. A lot of times we overlook that, or we wait till we get, which I know we'll get to the doctor. They'll tell us all these different things, and then it comes to mind. So for me, wellness is going to be all over mind, body, and spirit, emotions, and more that we don't all think about. However, were we ever taught that? So.
I never even thought about wound health or wellness until I got older, and starting to manage that as I got older and having to start to think about like family planning and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's one of those things that like I didn't incorporate into my wellness journey until later on or more recently. So that's really good to think about. Even thinking about these questions as we've been preparing for this. Wound health didn't even come. I didn't even write that down, and I knew you were going to be here. So,
well, the thing is, people think that womb health supposed to start later when you think about family planning. No, we need to teach our young boys too, but really our young girls, womb health starting from when they start their cycle. We think that it's normal to be in such pain, heavy bleeding, all of these things, and it's not normal. So, for me, I had to learn the hard way with fibroid tumors into my, 30s, but now I'm late 30s. And it's like, okay, now I have the opportunity to teach about womb health, and it does need to start, I say, from birth. That's just me. But when they can start talking, we need to talk about, womb health overall.
did Candace get kicked out? I feel like she got kicked out. I don't see her here.
Did she?
I think so.
Okay, I know she's having computer issues, but I do have a question for you.
She's
oh,
back.
there she goes. We can't hear you. She's talking on mute.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened. I think I got kicked out. I think there was a connection issue because of the rain here. I'm not sure what happened, but I got to hear part of your explanation. Jessica, did you get to share already, Monique, what your definition of wellness is? Okay.
Yes, we were just going over the womb wellness. For me, a lot of times we don't think about womb wellness.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. I mean, who's talking about that?
No, and I was just saying before you came back on is that, we learn later on in years, but we should be starting from when young girls start their cycle, explain what it is. If we should not be having heavy bleeding, we should not be having many cramps. It's like, it's not normal. And that's when herbs can come into play with our young girls, because a lot of people assume, oh, they're too young, but they're not, because you don't want them to get my age, and then you deal with fibroid tumors, ovarian cysts, when we could have talked about this, years ago. So we have to make sure that we're feeding the information, the knowledge, from the time that they can understand.
So from the microcosm that I was able to catch of your explanations of what wellness is, it's more proactive at this stage of your life than reactive? Is that generally what you would say? Is it's a more proactive approach, seeking out answers instead of waiting until there's an emergency flare up to, you're putting out fires instead of, cultivating something that you would like to have happen? Okay.
Absolutely. I was just saying, as I get older, I'm now learning that the things that I'm doing for my body today are going to affect me tomorrow and the day after and 3 years from now and 10 years from now. And I'm not only doing this for my body, and Candace and I have had this conversation, I'm preparing my body for the next generation, because the eggs that I carry are going to be my children, and then the eggs that they carry are going to be their children. So that I am preparing my body for wellness, not just for myself, but, for my family. And if I want that legacy to live on, I have to make sure that I'm preparing the best space, a cultivated space, for my future.
Absolutely. So I've kind of touched on what wellness is for me, and I'll talk a little bit more about it, but it's very holistic. So I've heard that word more than once in the conversation already today. It's not just what I look like aesthetically. It's not just even how I feel about how I look, because that's a separate thing. Sometimes you could look great, but you don't feel like you look great, or you can look great and your insides be messed up. So, your womb health is non-existent. You could drop dead because you have heart issues. There's all these things, but then it's also how I relate to me. So what are the conversations that I'm having with myself? Am I saying, oh, I'm not the weight that I want to be, so I hate myself. I'm not a success in life because I don't wear a size 2, or, you're looking at other people and comparing yourself to other people. It's being comfortable with what I'm looking at and what I'm presenting to the world, and that being enough. So wellness for me is how I'm not nourishing myself. So what I'm eating, but what I'm listening to, who I surround myself with, the kind of music that I listen to, what I'm drinking. It's all of those things, what I'm reading, but it's also mental health and spiritual health for me as well. So it's making sure that I feel connected, not just within my social circle, not just within my romantic relationships, but also with God. Do I feel whole? Do I feel present? Do I feel cared for? And do I do that for myself? So that's what wellness means for me at this point. But in the beginning, it was like, I got a healthy diet, I eat potato chips every now and again, but for the most part, I eat well. And that's what I thought wellness was just you eat well and you exercise every now and again, and you're not like, morbidly obese or something. And that's so far from the truth of what wellness is. So what do you all feel like was the catalyst for you in making that switch from what you thought wellness was to what you think or know it to be now? What turned the switch for you?
Well, for me, in 2017, I was diagnosed with fibroid tumors. So how I found out was, and I wasn't, the healthiest. It's probably far from my list to be healthy. It was on my mind, but it wasn't into play. So I was diagnosed because I was just bleeding for months and had to have 3 blood transfusions. So I had surgery. I had already started making my way of having a lifestyle change. But the problem where I struggled was what people were telling me I needed to do and what I felt I needed to do. I know I'm not a gym person, but I know I'm a hiking person. I know that I like burgers, so I'm going to have a vegan burger. So it was just really these things I had to put into play for myself, and I had to learn myself. But I would say fibroid tumors, and that was kind of the wake-up call for me. So it's been a 2-year journey. Things are going really well. And I also got into herbs also, and which plays a huge play for me. I know it's a trendy thing. Everyone's yoni steamer, drinking herbal tea, herbal bath, but it's really personal for me because not only should, we drink these things or eat or whatever, but we need to understand why. Why are we doing what we're doing? And what is the goal? So for me, Uterine health, yes, it does come first. You know, I want to plan, like she said, Jessica said, I want to, you know, my ex is going to go for my kids, my grandkids, and just my legacy is going to live on. But we have to understand why, and I think that a lot of us are missing. So that would be, and then I'm still on the journey, making sure that my mental health is good. And like what I'm eating, what I'm reading, all of these things come into play. So it's a balance, and I have to be sure that I'm going at my own pace, but I'm taking steps.
I think what you said at the end there, Monique, was really good. That saying that you're still on this journey, because I feel like in a lot of ways I just started a new one, and I feel like I got so exhausted with the last journey. I was just like, I'm scratch this. This is exhausting. I'm doing stuff that I've seen here and there, and some of it worked, some of it didn't, some of it I didn't even give it enough time to work. And so I was just like, let's just drop everything and let's figure out what does work. So I think you saying like this is a continuous kind of journey for you is pretty poignant, because I feel like I'm at that same spot where even recently, after the age of 30, when I turned 30, I feel like I felt a physical shift in my body. I felt something like there was a light switch that went off in my body and said, hey, you need to make these changes. You need to do these things. And I made it my business to figure out what worked for me, and not just looking at everybody else and what was working for them, but like really tuning into my body and saying, hey, okay, in the past, let's take an inventory of what worked. Um, and not one thing like made me shift my idea of wellness, but I think like a kind of a domino effect of several things made me shift my idea of wellness, because I get my mental health together and then my physical health would fall apart. And then I get my physical health together and my mental health would fall apart. And Candace is nodding because she has been right there along to witness this journey, and she has been a part of it. So this has been so recent, and I feel like now I'm just now getting to a point where I have a routine and my wellness plan that works for me. And I've probably been on this particular routine for maybe like 8-9 months now. So it is still very new, and I am just now figuring out what's working for me. So again, I don't think it was one thing that shifted it, because I thought I was on the track. I was like, oh, I got abs. This works. Am I hungry? Yes, but do my abs look good? Like that's not healthy, guys. Like and again, what you saying, like you don't necessarily like hitting the gym. Like even with me, I'm like, I'm going to the gym, I'm not seeing results. And so what is happening? Because I'm doing stuff that's not working. So I really had to figure out physically, mentally, and emotionally what's working for me. And it is still a journey. And now that I've seen, shifts in different areas, I can pull apart what works and what doesn't work for me.
And that's how it should be. I know it's really sometimes in the Black community, especially in our own households, when you want to, for me, it was hard. I've always wanted to do better and eat better. I was a flight attendant. I got to travel around the world a couple of times. So I got to really see these different foods and different people, and just a different type of energy that I was never introduced to before. So when I wanted to change, even like before I was diagnosed with fibroid tumors, it's like, what are you doing? Why do you better eat some beef, you better eat some pork, you better, I'm fine. But really, they're not fine. You see your grandmother and mother taking all this medication while they're telling you that you're fine, a bag of it. And, it's like, I don't want to be that way. And even wellness, I'll play into like finances. I don't want to have to live paycheck to paycheck if I don't, have to. I may have to do some things to shift, but that's part of my wellness too, because if I'm living paycheck to paycheck, number one, I'm too comfortable, and it's okay to want more and do more. So that's included in my personal, wellness. I've always, I'll say this past 7 years, I've just really been on, okay, let me save, let me do this. put money, $100, $200, whatever the case may be. But that plays into wellness, and it also plays into, we should never be so scared to just take a chance. If it works, like you said, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll pull the pieces and see what works for us and create our own routine. We don't have to go by the next person, because I know I could stand next to Candace. She's plant-based. She, you know, in my mind or someone else's mind, she just may have it all together, but that's not true. And even if it is, I'm not saying you don't have it together, Candace, but even if it is, that is not my journey. I have my own journey, my spiritual journey. Right now I'm on a sensuality journey and trying to figure out what that means for me, a deeper connection, because now I think I'm disciplined enough, because now I have my meal prepping. I'm really big on that. What I like to eat, I'm okay with saying no, but now I need that to reflect back to me. Why am I
the financial wellness? And thank you for saying that, because yes, again, a journey that I have recently got on. And I think let me not, because I don't know everybody's Black parents, but my Black parents and my Black experience has been save. And that's it. That's the financial literacy that I was given. Save your money. And that was it. And so within the last year, I purchased my own home. But the only financial literacy I had was to save money. So going from save money to being a homeowner is like, I had to kind of reach out and figure out who can I reach out to, who's in my circle, who can be a resource for that particular part of my life, because my financial wellness was not, I mean, I had saved money because that's what I was told to do, but learning about real estate, I had to take a crash course. So I thank you for saying that. And again, a journey I'm still on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many levels to all of that you're talking about. So financial wellness, that often plays a role in what you think you're able to do as far as your health journey is concerned. I can't afford. Like, how often have we heard that eating healthy is expensive? I can't afford a gym. I can't afford, and it's because of some of the things that we were taught or weren't taught as young people about money. And if you've grown up with a scarcity mindset that I have to, eat everything right now because there's not going to be any, in the future, or, if you have this kind of hoarding feeling about things, it tends to bleed over into other areas of your life that, oh, I have to grab. I have to take. And then you don't realize why this thing keeps playing out in other areas of your life. And it's because that's the story that's been running in your head. I have to do thus and so because Big Mama said, or, well, if I don't do this, there are going to be these negative repercussions, and you've never even experienced the negative repercussions. You're just going by what somebody else told you is a negative repercussion of being familiar with your body. We don't talk about our private parts, or don't even call our private parts what they are. Like, you don't even know the biological term for what's between your legs. You're calling it, teapot, a coochie. You're calling it everything but what it is, because at home, it may have been taboo for you to talk about that. And your first conversation is when you get your cycle, or right around the time that you get your cycle, when there is plenty of conversation that could have been had, about, all of those. So we have a question that's in the chat where they're asking, how does sexual wellness play a factor in your overall health and balance? And we're kind of touching on it now. Just being familiar with your body parts. If you're not even comfortable talking about what's on your body, how can you then articulate to someone else, a potential partner or whoever, what it is that you like when you don't even know what's on you? You haven't even looked. You have no real awareness around that. And if you're afraid to ask questions and you just do whatever you hear everybody else is doing, You can throw your pH balance off because you're putting all these unnatural things down there, and then it starts itching and smelling, and and you're embarrassed. So now you don't know who to talk to about what, and you just keep doing what you see other people doing, and you got a science project going on down there because it's like, well, I can't tell mama, that I fooled around with a guy and now I'm itching, and you might think you have VD, and it's not even that. It could just be his pH was off, or the condom that you used, you're allergic to. You might be allergic to latex. It's all kinds of things that could come from that. But again, it can inform all the other stuff you have going on. And biologically, if you're eating lots of dairy and, all of these things that create lots of mucus down there, again, you might think that you have a disease, and it's really just a chemical pH imbalance. So it really plays a huge role in how you move through the world. If you're not even comfortable with yourself or aware of what's going on with you, it's very difficult to then inform somebody else on how to take care of you and how to love on you if you don't even know how to love on you. But ladies, I'll let you two jump in on that one.
So you want to go, Jessica?
I was gonna say, all you, Monique. This is all you.
No, it's not. But since we're talking, every Monday, I'm on week 10 now, for 10 weeks. Every Monday, I have a Facebook Live called Most Vagina Talks 201. Most Vagina Talks 201. And so what I wanted to do was create a platform for us to talk about, have vagina talks. It's fun, but also educational. So the one thing I noticed, I'm 37 and I have women 37 plus and under who are scared to say vagina, who doesn't understand what a womb is, what a yoni is. And, we shouldn't be that way, but it's always been taboo because like when I started my period, these are the pads, this is how you put it on. Make sure you don't mess your clothes up. And boom, I'm out in the world. I'm in class or whatever, mess my clothes up, what do I do? This creates like this anxiety that we probably didn't know what it was back then. It creates anxiety and you grow up like that. So we dealing with the, cramping and bleeding. But going back to the vagina, it's not a taboo word. It's a very beautiful word. And we have to become very comfortable with self. We have to know what we like and dislike. We have to know that we can't use latex. Where's the vegan condoms? What kind of condoms are we going to use? Plant-based wash doesn't work for everyone, but you have to do these research. What is your body allergic to? I feel like once we become comfortable with saying the word vagina, once we become comfortable, this will create a confidence level. It will put us to be more confident in ourselves and then start asking questions. Okay, so what do I like? What don't I like? What works for my body? What's, giving me this yeast infection? Because a lot of times we go to the doctor, get a yeast infection, bacteria infection, yeast infection, and it's going round and round and round. So, what herbs can you use? Can you use the herb called moringa that's going to boost your immune system and clear out mucus? Can you use sea moss? Like understand, not just use these things, but understand. And actually, when people get on my live, the first thing they have to do is type vagina. It's nothing wrong with that. So I just want to make sure that women are comfortable. People are not going to understand because I get a lot of backlash. What are you doing? Why are you talking about sex and vagina? And it's not that I'm just talking about sex. I'm talking about finding my center, being okay with discussing these things. And I am going to have to discuss with my future daughter and son and whoever else. And then your partner, you have to discuss things that you like and dislikes, your boundaries. And we don't do it. What we do a lot of times is if someone crosses those boundaries, I'm done. Or either you get people who don't understand, or because you want to talk about vaginas and sex, now they think that they can cross those boundaries and you want to talk about that all day. That's not so. So you have to become comfortable with self, with discussing and knowing your boundaries. So I can go on and on, but that's my small take on it.
I have a question for you, Monique. Just kind of rewording the question that we got in the chat, but also adding to what you said there. You said there's this anxiety, and I think a lot of it comes from shame too. And so I know that you host these chats. Can you talk a little bit about how women describe the shame around their vagina and how that impacts, say, their well-being in other parts of their life, say with their partners, or like you talked about with their doctors, but what type of impact does that have outside of just the bathroom, and in the everyday just kind of interactions? How does that play out?
Well, when they're not comfortable, or there's a lot of shame, because it can be anything. It could be shame as in you're fat, so now everything about you is ugly, including your vagina. Or you're pretty, but now your prettiness, you can be just throwing your vagina around. Or it can be sexual trauma. It can be all these types of different things. So who do we talk to about this? Where do we go? You know, what? It's no circle. I created my own circle because, you know, growing up, I'm like, okay, who am I going to talk to? Because I know that I want to talk about these things. And no, don't you dare talk about that. Don't you dare. But it also creates possible issues with your partner, because now we got a shirt on when we having sex. We got the lights off. Why? We're beautiful. We have a beautiful vagina. It looks, no vagina looks the same. We don't know that until we get older, but, or either when we do get older, I'm like, oh, why don't my vagina look like that? Because it's not yours. So we have to be able to treat it. I talk to my vagina. You are beautiful. You are worthy. Just because that you're confident and open doesn't mean that you are obligated to give yourself to other people. And a lot of men will mistake that for, oh, I can do something. Her Mo talks about sex. No, it's not how it, you know, how it works. So I hope I answered the question. But but you know, it your partner do have to talk about it. And what I said, I think 2 weeks on my live is, you will find out what type of partner you have, and if you really have that connection when you start to talk about sex, because or just your likes and dislikes of vagina. I don't want a man to, you know, I want you to listen to me, and I want you to provide me feedback. But don't just listen to me because you're getting happy and now you're blurting out these immature, amateur answers. I don't want that. So when you learn about yourself and your vagina, you start to pick better partners, and you can spot on pick out the ones who are just not, the energy isn't there for you. The connection shouldn't be, and don't force it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, moving the conversation on a little bit more, I would like to hear what you all think has been your biggest challenge in adopting the lifestyle that you have now. So you've said it's been an ever evolving thing. So it's definitely not like you're standing on the mount looking down at all of the unevolved people. It's an ever, it's a work in progress. So now, even if you kind of had gotten to a good clip, so it sounds like, you know, several years, several months, whatever, so you've kind of gotten through the trial and error part where it's kind of a little more bumpy. Now that we are in this pandemic, what has been the biggest challenge for you in being either consistent with your wellness journey, or how has it had to pivot for you during this time?
I was going to say consistency is always the hardest part of any journey that you're on. And I think this pandemic has actually forced me to be more consistent with my wellness journey, because I am home, I'm with all of my things, I'm with everything that needs to, and if I'm not with my things, Amazon Prime is a thing that can help me to get my things. So it has been, I think I've been good. My skin is clear. I have had time to like do my skin because my skin routine is a routine. And so when I'm in class all day and I'm still working, And so I'm in class all day, and then I come home and then I teach a class. And if I'm teaching online, then I'm tired by 11 o'clock. So if I have the energy to just wash my face, that's all that gets done. But now that I am home all day, I can do the serums, and then I can do the creams, and then I can do the ointments. And if I see something that is coming up on my face, I don't have to wait 6 hours till I can put something on it. I can just right there put something. So it is the consistency, and that's just one of my routines, and that's just the skincare routine. And that's a journey I've been on forever. I'm like, I had teenage acne, and I'm like, 25, I'm gonna have bomb skin. No. 29, I'm gonna have bomb skin. No. 30, bomb skin is coming, y'all. So it just is. It is the consistency, and I think this quarantine has helped. It has helped me with therapy, because it's so easy when you're running and ripping and running and running around to call or to send a message and say, I can't make it. I have 16,000 things to do. What do you have to do now? You're home. And I think telehealth is one of the most amazing things that has come out of quarantine. It is so accessible. Everybody has a phone or a laptop just available to them. So it is, therapy has been far more consistent. What else? I've been working out, and my exercise routine hasn't been as consistent, but it also doesn't need to be, because I'm cooking my own meals. So I'm not working off all of the fast food that I was eating. I can eat healthier at home, and I can work off the carbs or whatever when my body tells me I need to. It's not that I'm fighting off all of the bad habits throughout the day that I had. So I think for me, quarantine has been like a blessing in disguise. I think for a lot of people, they're starting to realize that a lot of their routines are unnecessary and have been taking up a lot of time and energy that don't need to be taken up. And you can replace those things with things of wellness. And so I feel like that's what I've been doing. And it's worked out for my skin's benefit, at least. So that's my tip.
For me, I would say to consistency. And it also gave me a chance to really just connect deeper with myself, my goals, for myself, for my small business, to, assist other women. And I can say that there's been so many beautiful women that reached out to me that took the time to cater to themselves. A lot more women are yoni steaming, they're drinking tea, they're taking a hot bath. And I'm like, how often, with you being so busy, how often do you just get to sit and take a hot bath? Just sit there. That's it. And that is self-care. So with that being said, though, it's easier for me to say that to someone, but I had to reflect that back on myself. Okay, Mo, you sit down, you yoni steam, you take a hot bath, you relax. And lately what I've been doing is having quiet time. I don't want anyone around me. Sometimes I just like it quiet, no music, no nothing. And then I've been writing a lot more. So this really gave me the chance to focus on me. So I think what it did, because now I'm back working my 9 to 5. It's okay. But what that did was create more discipline, create more things that I, am thankful for. So I'm thankful for those moments I have had. So now going forward, I'm going to make sure that I take the time to slow down, to make sure that I self-care. And I think a lot of women are kind of on that path too. Like, oh, I didn't know this can be so good. Like, it gave a whole new perspective. So quarantine's been pretty good to me.
Very good. So glad to hear that. I just know looking on social media, you'll see people talking about like hashtag quarantine 15. They added some friends around the hip or lower belly area, or maybe around the face and things like that. And there being some discouragement as well, because you do see some people that just have a glow up. They are looking superb out here, body getting tight, skin look good, hair flourishing, growing fingernails, and they used to bite their fingernails, and you just look at it and like, well, what's going on with me? Because it looked like everybody else living their best life in quarantine, and I look like the Hobbit out here. Like, what is going on here? But I think it's really important what you all are saying is within that, there was some room for reflection. Like, it wasn't just you jumped into something, it was a real analysis of where I'm at. Like, my skin ain't where I want it to be. I now have time to wash my face. I have all these products, which if y'all are natural hair ladies like us, you done probably went through the gamut of natural hair products. Like, let me get the Shea Moisture, let me get the curls, let me get the this, let me get the that. And you spoke to this earlier, just because sometimes we just don't give stuff enough time to work because, oh, my hair ain't popping like so and so's. You don't know if she's been doing this 7 years or not. You looking at the culmination of consistency in someone else's life and saying, this doesn't work for me, and you haven't been consistent. The thing we've been consistent with is jumping from one thing to the next. That's what we tend to be consistent in is, I'm gonna try this for a week, I'm gonna try this for 2 weeks, and my skin isn't perfect, and my hair hasn't grown half a foot. And it's like, ma'am, biologically speaking, healthy hair grows about half an inch a month. So come on, baby, you gotta keep doing the things in order to get the output. You want oven results, but you want it in microwave time, and that's not how any of this works. So we have a great question over here. What are some healthier snacks to keep around during quarantine? Oh, yeah, no, you're definitely not the only one snacking. So for me, what I suggest to my health coach clients is be honest with yourself. So I'm not going to say, if you've got things at home, especially if you have children, if you have fruit roll-ups, the fruit snack challenge, I'm sure everybody's seeing everybody's children tearing up the fruit snacks when they're not supposed to. But if you have those things in the house, I'm not going to tell you to throw that out because that's not even economically smart at this point. But make sure that you have things in there that are enjoyable for you as well. So if you like fruit snacks, if you like strawberry flavors, do you have any fresh strawberries? Do you have, just because we've gotten like accustomed to artificial stuff. Like I've had people that say they love Cheez-Its. Do you eat cheese? Do you eat actual crackers? Why do you have to have cheese flavored crackers? Like, eat the real thing. So if you are a person that likes crunchy, absolutely. Absolutely. Air fryer, hey, I'm on the bandwagon. I'm about to buy one myself. But it's still the same principle. You have to put forth some effort. So with the snacks, if you like crunchy things, it could be air pop popcorn. It could be getting fresh veggies that are crunchy. So if you like kind of a sweet flavor, it could be carrot sticks. It could be celery. You can make hummus instead of ranch, because everyone's thing is, ranch dressing. They drown everything in ranch dressing. So there are lots of ways that you can do still something very flavorful at home. It just depends on what you're interested in to start with. So I'm not going to tell somebody to go to Trader Joe's and buy out the snack section if you aren't sure that you are going to like blue corn tortilla chips, or you're going to like sesame seed chips or something like that. It could just be trying one new thing and adding something healthier to that. Does that make sense, ladies? So what is something that you all do that you consider a wellness activity that most people probably would not view as a wellness activity, and why?
Oh, okay. For me, I was trying to hit mute the hit stop video, but I'm struggling here. For me, I like quiet time. And you are so busy, you may work in an environment where it's so noisy, or you may work in a quiet environment where just whatever the case may be. But a lot of people's like, well, quiet, that's not wellness. It is wellness. I can sit still and live in the moment and not think about anything, not want for anything, but just to sit still. I know a lot of times I look out the window, don't know what I'm looking at, but I'm just looking. So for me, a lot of things come to me most. I'm probably most creative when I'm still and when I'm quiet, and there's no expectations of absolutely anything. I don't have to be in any place for anyone but myself. So I would say that's probably non-traditional, sitting still.
I think mine is similar. I was going to say putting my phone on Do Not Disturb is a non-traditional self-care that I do. I sometimes all of the notifications that we get are triggering to us. It triggers anxiety. And I know that we're in this like age of gadgets and everything wants to notify you. And you have all these apps and things like that to tell you that you're not doing something. So get up and do something. And it can become exhausting, and it can also it can like create this like sense of anxiety. And so at sometimes I wear an Apple Watch all the time. I have to take this thing off sometimes because it'll ding and it'll tell me you have to do something when my body is telling me something else. So you have to be mindful of those things and sometimes just turn it all off. If my mama needs me, my phone knows it's my mom and she will get through the do not disturb, but everybody else, y'all can wait. Like it is, if it's an emergency, figure it out, text me, send a smoke signal. But sometimes I just need to shut all the way down. And even some of the apps that are supposed to be for self-care, they also send you notifications telling you, you need to self-care right now. Do it. Meditate. It's time. You said you were going to do this at 9 o'clock. Do it right now. And so I don't feel it. It's not in my spirit. And now I'm triggered and now I want to throw my phone. So turning everything on do not disturb is one of the self-care things I had to learn how to do. And that's one of the things that I realized and doing my own therapy is like, if the Calm app tells you it's time for your meditation and you don't feel like meditating, you just gonna have to turn the Calm app off, delete it off your phone. If it just, and for those who have Apple Watches, every hour it will tell you breathe. And you're like, I am breathing. Why are you gonna tell me to breathe? I'm breathing. Can't you, like, you see my pulse? Like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that every hour. So just take it off, turn it off, and find something else to do. Find something that's calming. And one of the replacements that I found that works for me, if any of you ever do like massages or go to spas, they have like frequency music in the background that kind of calms you. And so anytime I feel myself kind of riling up like that, and it doesn't have to be anything like someone triggered, but just like with notifications going off where I'm having a really stressful week, like a ding of an email, if I get, everybody knows that feeling. If you get one more email, you're going to lose it. And so I found, I think it's called, I can type it in the chat, but it's like mindful meditation or meditate mindful or something like that. And it gives you this frequency music that it will tap into your chakras and calm you. So you naturally feel calm. So if you've ever gone to get like a massage and you zone out, that's not a unique experience. It's because your body's vibrations are tuning into that music, and you have somebody like hitting pressure points and things like that. But that's one of the things that I've noticed. Like when I go to get a massage, the one thing that I do is really like tune into that music so I can kind of vibe out and realign, so to speak.
Cool, very cool. So, along that line, as you were talking about that resource, what are some of your favorite resources that you like to tap into, whether they're electronic or, old fashioned like a book or people? What are some things, some resources that you really love that are part of your wellness journey?
I would say music is one, and I like to know different types of music that people are listening to. Like Jessica was saying, music will really help you just calm down your nervous system. It'll just get you to relax. And then, because I know me, when I get just going, sometimes I forget to breathe. So music really do help me. Also, my circle that I surround, the people I surround myself with. So I like for it to be surrounded around people kind of the same mindset, but just a slightly different, so I have room to learn. But even then, you have to be able to know, who to pull yourself to and from. But right now, I'll say music, and I'll say people where I can learn different holistic meanings, food, music, just overall health.
Music is a big one for me, just like I spoke about. Did you say traditional too, Candace? Okay. I like actually picking up a book for leisure reading. Something about me reading a book and like turning the pages and just kind of escaping reality and falling into a book is one of my favorite things to do. And I don't find enough time to do that. But now that we have been in quarantine, I found the time to kind of reintroduce that back into my routine. So I've actually been reading a book with a friend recently, and it is about Black women and those and their self-care. So it is one of the things that I just had to. It's one of the things that I used to love to do as a kid, and then life got in the way, and I'm like a professional student now, so I'm always reading, and so it becomes exhausting. And I feel like if you do something too much, even though you used to enjoy it, it becomes a task, and then you don't enjoy it as much. So I had to kind of fall back in love with reading and reading what I want to read at my own pace. Um, and so that's one of the more traditional things that I do for like a resource for me.
Okay, I saw someone had their hand up, and I just wanted to make sure that if they had a question that we got to it. So for wellness activities for me, I definitely consider myself unique, and I am now proud to wave my freak flag. So I'm not expecting anybody to do, what I think is therapeutic or fun or anything like that. So before I knew it was a thing, I used to like to just go outside and put my feet in the grass. And so that's, if you know anything about it, they call it grounding. So it's, getting in touch with the earth and just letting your body feel the vibration of the earth and the good energy from the earth. So sometimes if I've had a bad day, I'll just go outside and take my shoes off and put my feet on the ground or hug a tree. Like I didn't know what hugging a tree was about, but there's life. We get life, we get oxygen from the trees and the plants, and they've been here for some of them for hundreds of years, and so they've seen it all, they've been a part of it all, and so you can just get that renewing energy from being out in nature. So I've always loved that. I have a couple of messed up stories um around trying to do that, like going to the park, and I ended up getting flashed while I was there. But it was my intention was good. I definitely got some blood flowing because I had to run. But you know, it's like that sometimes. Yes, absolutely. Oh, that sounds beautiful. So standing in the moonlight to recharge. I've definitely heard of standing in the sun. Of course, not sun gazing directly, which I think some people have that messed up. Like you don't look directly at the sun, you will go blind. But just being in the sun and getting that vitamin D, especially as people of color, activate that melanin. Come on, get that vitamin D going. Get out in the sun for a little while. Okay, so we do have a question. So go ahead. Please share your question.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. I have a comment on my wellness, and it's weird. I love to sit and hear laughter. especially children, I love to just sit as long as they're not fighting and fussing. And it gives me so much joy. It just does something to me to sit and hear children just laugh out and play. I mean, it's relaxing to me.
I agree. I think laughter is so contagious, and every so often on Twitter or Instagram, there's a thread that comes past of people just, I mean, laughing to the point where they can't breathe, and I just join in. I don't know what they're laughing about, but it comes across, and I completely agree with you. I didn't even think about that, but that is amazing, that you recognize that. I do love that as well.
And actually, while you were saying that, that made me think about when I was younger. I was at my grandmother's house with my cousins. We're out in the mud, didn't have on any shoes, just riding bikes or whatever the case may be. But we're laughing. I think for me, it's probably like no, almost in a sense, no responsibility. And it's just, we're just having fun. There's no drama, there's not anything negative, anything going on, but just laughing is so good for the soul. So yeah, thank you for that.
Okay, so I got a private comment that put me on Front Street, and I'm gonna share it with you all. And Jessica knows this one. I extract great joy from watching videos of people falling. I laugh so much. But I enjoy laughter as well. So I have like old videos of my sons when they were babies, and just babies laughing like that, pure, just, they are so tickled. It is just, they are fully engrossed that this is the most amazing thing. This is the funniest thing that has ever happened in the world, and they can't breathe and their cheeks are all red. It's just the cutest thing. So I'm totally with you, Miss Rose. But yeah, I will make myself red. I'll be as red as my blouse laughing at trip and fall videos. My friends, my really close friends, they send me stuff on on social media all the time because I don't want to see people get hurt. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not wanting someone to break their leg or anything like that, but just like a smooth slip and fall where your leg goes up and you end up seeing somebody's behind like sailing through the air. Whew, that tickles me. So yes, that is something I probably shouldn't be proud of. But hey, we're in a judgment-free space. That is something that I enjoy, that helps my mental health. I definitely enjoy that. So, is there anything that you're interested in, curious about as far as wellness is concerned that you would like to incorporate into your lifestyle that you haven't yet?
So for me, what I'm working on, I actually had a call with my meditation instructor earlier today, like 10 this morning. And she's in Denver. She used to be in the Dallas Meditation Center, but she's now working in Denver. And what I told her was I wanted to incorporate more of me just having that time to meditate. And I don't think I do enough of it because I'm so busy trying to cater to others. So I need to take more time for me. And I'm getting very comfortable with saying no. Probably a little too comfortable. It's like a hard no right now. But it's saying no because I still need boundaries. I still need me time. And I can't give that to you if I'm not giving it to me. And so before, I think I was feeling like a little guilty about it, and my nose would be, well, if I have to, I will. But it's like, actually, no, not today, but tomorrow. And I give times and boundaries that I'm allowing you into my space. So for me, it's just to be consistent. Going back to what Jessica said, to be consistent with saying my no's, giving myself self-care, and setting boundaries, and just kind of blocking out that space. It has to be done.
Same. Saying no is such a powerful word, and it is a full sentence, y'all. No is a full sentence. That is There's no explanation needed. You can say no, and that is the end of the conversation. And so what I'm learning is that there is no explanation needed. If my capacity ends with me and I can't give any to you, I'm going to be selfish. And I think previously I have been the yes man. I've been, sure, I'll do this, sure, I'll do that, sure. And when I realized, I think even in quarantine, again, I'm still on this journey, is that I have to let people know, no, I can't do this. I think a lot of people assume because we are home that we have more time for them, and we simply do not. This is a time for us, and if you need that time to kind of regroup and refresh and to figure out what your routine is, take it. And that's what I've been doing. I told my boss flat out no one day, and I was just like, well, we're gonna see how that goes. And she respected it, and she emailed me and she said, we'll figure it out. Let me know when you can. Let me know what you are able to do. And so it just was so empowering just to say no. And that is again a new word to me. That is a new tool in my toolbox. So that is one. But one other thing that I wanted to incorporate is, now that I've kind of gotten on like a routine with eating and exercising, I wanted to, and this is something, Candace, you and I can talk about, is like incorporating 1 day or 2 days out of the week where I do a vegan diet, because I have slowly over time started to eliminate things. I've been doing an elimination diet for years at this point, and figuring out what works for my body and what doesn't. And so I'm at the point now where I think I'm comfortable moving into not full on vegan. I mean, Candace is amazing at what she does. I can't do it though. However, maybe I can give it a day or two. So that's one more thing that I think that I can kind of take on, and I'll challenge myself to do it. And Candace knows if it isn't working for me, I will tell her, hey, this isn't working. How can we scale back? Or if I can't do 2 days out of the week, let's try one. And if I can't do 1 day out of the week, let's do 1 meal a week. Let's do, there are ways to compromise and figure it out. I think everything is negotiable is what I'm figuring out. So that's another thing that I would like to incorporate. And if it feels like it's becoming too much, then I have that relationship with my friends, and they hold me accountable. So if it's not working, have somebody to tell you, hey girl, this seems like it's not working for you. Let's try something else. I think that's another thing. Accountability partners, y'all, get one. Get somebody who's going to be your friend and be honest, because a lot of times the friendships are very coddling, and sometimes you need somebody to tell you the truth. Candace is that for me. She knows this. I love you. So that's it. Those are my things that I'm going to incorporate.
Also, to tag on really quick to what you were saying, Jessica, about the vegan and non-vegan. I wanted to say that what I'm finding right now that a lot of people have time, they're on social media a lot, when they can be focusing on themselves, that, you're not a bad person if you're not vegan. I think Candace told me that she started, was it like pescatarian, vegetarian, like you went through all of these stages. And I don't like labels, number one. People ask me, well, are you vegan, vegetarian? No, I just do what I do, because I don't want to say I'm vegan and you see me eating something else. It's just what I want to do. But I'm strong in that area now. But you are not a bad person if you're not vegan. Everyone has to start from somewhere. And so when people ask me about, because I'm still on my journey, it's just, I think it's going to always be. When people ask me, well, how did you do your lifestyle change? I started with meal prep. Me and my mom, shout out to her. She works for a nurse, but I love her to death. We sat down and we went over, okay, well, what do I already eat that will go into the vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian? Because a lot of times we're so focused on these titles, we don't realize you eat blueberries, you eat spinach, you may eat fish or not, like you may already eat these things, but you're just on this title. So again, my thing is go at your own pace. I tell people to start with meal prepping. And I don't know, I'm just going by what helped me. It's what I explain to people. Meal prepping really helped. And then I started taking foods away. I get so that my mom, she absolutely hate doing my meal prep now because I am that picky now. Nope, don't you dare use no seasoning. And now I don't really like seasoning, and we do look up plant-based things, but that's just not all that I eat. But it's just figure out what works for you, and do not be ashamed, do not be scared, do not let people make you feel guilty, because your journey is your journey. And little do you know, they probably sneaking in the back eating something that they don't have any business doing. I've seen it. So therefore I try to be as supportive as I can, but just be ready. If you come and you ask Candace, you ask Jessica, you ask me, just kind of be ready to take that next step, because you don't want to be one of those people where you're setting, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then we give you some advice and you're like, oh, but this, okay, well, all right, that's fine. So that's, I just want to add that.
Absolutely. So one of the fun things I've noticed in my practice, in my coaching practice, is yes, I'm plant-based. Yes, my business is called Planted Vibes, and it is about plant-based living, but only 10% of my clients are vegetarian or vegan. Everybody else is omnivores. Everybody else is an omnivore, and there's no judgment around that, because you have to do what's going to work for you and your body where you are right now. That doesn't mean that's where you ultimately want to be, but let's deal with where you are right now. And that's where people get burned out, frustrated, and just quit, because they're expecting to go 0 to 100. And like you said, Monique, my journey has been lots of, trial and error, up and down. This is my third time being vegan. This is my third time. I've been vegetarian, so I've done ovo-lacto, I've done pescatarian, I've done only chicken, eggs, and dairy. I've done the gamut of what you could do. I've been raw, vegan, I've done all of it. Like, if there's something that you could do, with the exception of maybe being paleo, because me and fat and beef, we ain't here. But pretty much everything else, I've tried Whole30, all of these things. So I've tried all of it, and it gives me an opportunity to be gracious with people. And often people aren't gracious with themselves. They're expecting themselves to be perfect, when for 30 years you've been eating greens. Yes, you've been eating vegetables, but it had smoked turkey necks in it. It had ham hocks in it. It had, each vegetable that you had isn't the color that it was supposed to be. It's like, all the colors washed out your broccoli. The broccoli is like brown looking because boiled all of the, nutrients out of it, and then you drown it in cheese. So, just recognize where you're starting from, and don't judge it. Just recognize, this is where I'm starting from, and this is how I need to scale back. This is what I need to add to. And that's what I encourage for all of my clients as well. It's more of adding to first, instead of taking away, because if you are focusing on, I don't get to have, you're in a deprivation mindset, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this 2 more weeks, and then I'm going to Brahms, and I'm getting, a double cheeseburger, and I'm getting the shake, and I'm getting so no, it's more like you said, starting where you already are. You like blueberries? Let's do some more things with blueberries. You like spinach? Let's do more things with spinach. And then just adding from there. So what I'm working on that I'm more interested in is the science behind nutrition. So I'm working on macros right now, and just developing that a little bit more. So that's the wellness practice that I'm going through right now. So most things that I suggest to other people, it's not me saying, oh, try this, try that. I'm like the product of these things. So I don't ask people to do something that I haven't done. So I'm going through tracking my food and breaking those things down. And I'm like, real talk, I'm like, okay. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So Aaron wanted to know about the meditation instructor. So what's the deal with that, Mo? Tell us more about that.
So for that, I started a little bit after I found out I had tumors. I have a center in Oak Cliffs called Shambhala, the meditation center. And so I went I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know any of these people. I just know that I was on a new journey, and I wanted to get more in tune with myself. So luckily I made it to this particular place. They have two, one in North Dallas and one in Oak Cliff. And I was lucky because they were not strict at all. You come as you are. You believe in God, Buddhist, whatever the religion may be or not be, you are accepted as a person in this center. And so it helped me so many ways to just breathe. We forget to breathe a lot, and that's how our anxiety attacks and this depression and all these things. So when I was going through the worst of the worst for my fibroid tumors after surgery and blood transfusion, it just helped me to kind of come back to my senses, because it was a time where I bled so much that this particular time, this day, whatever the case was, I was bleeding so much and I felt like something like, dang, I could just die like right now. And I was going to let it be. So going to meditation let me know you are important. You are worthy. We need you here. So everyone has their own, and I keep saying this, everyone has their own journey, their own goal, their own purpose when they do things like this. So it's not, you can't ever compare, because when I'm sitting there in meditation, you know, you have to sit up, you have to breathe, and 30 minutes is a long time. So I struggle, but then now I could do like an hour of meditation, and we meditate with our eyes open, because my instructor was like, you have to be able to focus with all this distraction. I know a lot of times to close your eyes, but to meditate with your eyes open and still be grounded with all this distraction around you, it shows how powerful you are. So if you are looking, I'm not a meditation instructor. I don't want to be. It's a tough road to fill. But I do know a place in Oak Cliff. They're very open, beautiful people. When I had surgery, when I graduated college 2 years ago, they all came. They all showed up after surgery, groceries, whatever my mom needed for me. So I do know a place. If you just let me know and I'll get the information to you.
So should I try this slice? I don't think I can.
I don't think it would take you back.
Okay, let's see. All right, so, oh, that's nice. That's cool. That's cool. So we have a couple of comments. Deshavon was saying that she agrees with you, Monique. Meal prep helps her control what she's eating, and taking away labels helps her to stay consistent with her plan. Awesome. Awesome. And Erin found a center in her area. So that's great. Thank you for sharing those resources, ladies. So the time is far spent, as my dad would say. The time is far spent, but we would like to open up. Are there any other questions from you all, or comments about wellness and what it looks like for you, or how you would like for it to look for you going forward?
Is that for us, Candace, or the floor?
Both.
Okay. Well, I'll go, and then I'll do the round table and let everyone that chimed in, called in to get their questions. But I will say that write down what it is that you want to accomplish within the next 30 days. I know sometimes we do this long, well, next year I want to do this in 30 days. If you had it your way, how would you like your wellness mindset to change? That could be absolutely anything that you want it to be. You create your own lane. When you create your own lane, then you pull certain energy. So now I'm going to connect with Jessica. I'm going to connect with Candace. And now I'm going to learn 2 different ways, and including 3 of my own ways that we can exchange things. And now we have a new way of reading, different books that we're reading, now we're eating more blueberries or switching up. So for me, I would just say that I just want to continue to meet different people, and still do my own thing. Just I'm incorporating into what I want to do, not pushing myself to be like someone else.
I completely agree. And I'm going to add to your comment, Monique. So if you, and Candace, chime in after me, because I know I'm going to miss something. If you make a goal for the next 30 days, underneath that, write what you can do. One thing you can do every single day to get to your 30-day goal. So even 30 days may feel big to some people. Some people may not feel like they have a starting place, but they can maybe do one thing tomorrow. So write those things down. Encourage yourself. I'm a huge believer in manifesting things. I'm a huge believer in saying things out loud, writing them down. I make a vision board every year. I've done so for the past few years. And I just hosted a vision board party at the beginning of this year, or at the end of last year. And 2 people put babies on their vision board. And guess what? I got 2 baby announcements. So this is something that I thoroughly and holistically believe in. Write it down. I have my notebook here and a good pen, and that's just, I invest in yourself in a good notebook and a good pen. Feel good while you're writing. Get something in your hand that makes your handwriting nice, that you feel like it feels good to put this on paper. That is just one additional step onto that 30-day goal that you can put onto into your journal, into your daily routine. One thing that it's a very small thing that doesn't feel overwhelming. So Candace, I know you probably have something to add on, but this is something that we have been preaching for years. Like, these big goals are going to be a little overwhelming, but those smaller, more realistic, I can do this one thing tomorrow, feel a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with them. It's really short-term goals and then making action steps. So that's basically what she's talking about when she's saying break it down into more manageable steps so that you don't get overwhelmed. And honestly, the whole concept of however much time you give it yourself to do something, that's how long it's going to take you, whether you need that much time or not. So if you know you could do something in 15 minutes, but you write down in an hour, I will do this. And so generally things happen that prolong it to make it take you an hour to do something that you know really should have only taken you 15 minutes. So another thing that I really encourage people to do is be honest with yourself. If you know that you tend to be more higher energy in the mornings, why would you move your workout to the evening when you're already out of gas? Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. So really have a honest conversation about what you have available to you, your bandwidth, your financial resources. Do you have workout equipment at home? Do you have fresh vegetables at home? Whatever it is that you say your goal is, I want to eat healthier. Okay, well, if you've gotten paid, if you've gotten your SNAP benefits or whatever it is that you have in order to purchase food, if you have that, you need to go in with a game plan, because if you go in hungry, if you go in without a plan, you will buy $50 worth of junk, a sprig of broccoli, or some stuff that you know you're not going to use because you're already hungry and you're frustrated and you're trying to get out of the store because there's way too many people in there. Everybody don't have a mask on. So just go ahead and have a plan. I want to try a new vegetable this week. What do they have on sale at Kroger? Okay, they've got spaghetti squash. I want to try spaghetti squash. And then get all your other stuff that you normally use for spaghetti, if that's what you want to try, and then do it that way. So it's definitely being realistic about your resources, but also being realistic about where you are and how that relates to where you want to be. Anybody else? Questions, comments, or concerns before I let you all go today?
Candace, I wanted to say thank you guys for having me. Healing Black women, that's so important. And, when you came to me, I was very excited, just the name alone, because we do have a lot of healing, different areas. Jessica, thank you so much. Just listening to you guys, that's what I mean by the different wellness lanes. All of us, we do different things. We know different things. So we have to be able to come together, have that safe spot, that safe zone to discuss things and learn things and be open. So thank you so much. That's all I wanted to say.
Same. I want to say thank you. If anybody has any questions just privately about mental health, therapy, anything like that, please reach out to me. I know it's not a comfortable conversation to have in front of other people, period. So I'm happy to have discussions about what that looks like, how to get in contact with a clinician, talk about some different types of therapy that may be good for you. So anything mental health, mental wellness, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will put my contact information in the chat so you guys know how to reach me.
Yes, yes. Could you do that as well, Mo, so that people can reach out to you? So she's very active on social media. She has Motivate Your Womb on Instagram, and then she has her Vagina Talks on Facebook. So if you have one or the other, those are great ways to reach out to her. But she does have an email address as well. So all ways that people can contact you, please put that in the chat so that people can reach out to you. I guess I'll talk a little bit about me before we close up. I do have a holistic health coaching practice, wellness practice, and it's Planted Vibes. I'm on Facebook as well as Instagram. And it's really about having a conversation about what you want your health and your wellness to look like. So am I converting everybody to vegan, vegetarian? Absolutely not. But plants are for everybody. They are for everybody. So making sure that you're creating a life that you love looking at, a life that you don't need a vacation from. So like they were saying, pulling those things out of your routines that you thought had to be in there that aren't serving you anymore. Absolutely. Make sure that you're doing something for you, investing in you. So we have another session coming up tonight at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. And we have 2 more on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern and then 8 p.m. Eastern. And yes, so they're putting their information in there. There's great content. So for future homeowners, like Jessica was talking about in her process, we're going to have real estate agent talking about the joys of home ownership. We're going to have Mo Love on tomorrow talking about creativity. And I think she has some great people on her panel as well. So there's lots of awesomeness still to be enjoyed. So if you enjoyed today and our time together, please log back in, same credentials and everything this evening, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then tomorrow 4 Eastern, 3 Central, and then 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Central Eastern. So if that's it, thank you all so much for joining us for Wellness Matters. Let me, I guess, throw my information in here right quick for how you can find me on social media. Let's see, but that's all that I have. So if you have a comment right quick, you can definitely unmute. We would love to hear your voice, or if you want to put something in the chat. But thank you so much for your time today. And it was a pleasure talking to you all today.